Oh my goodness. So we haven't done an actual book in a very long time, but I read this and completed it about a month or two ago. Creative Visualization. It was recommended to me by one of my angels. Who's been such a guiding light, such a mentor in my life, particularly with everything that I'm going through with this investigation, all this garbage within my Ratlife job at work. So, beautiful angel said, Tarek, you need to get this book, you need to buy it. And so I said, Miss Angel, gonna do it, bought it, Amazon cart, already got it done, and it's read. It actually took me a very long time to read it because I have my own sort of syllabus within this university of books that I really want to read just for my own personal development, and this wasn't one of them. And so it felt like such an effort, and there was a lot of resistance just getting through the pages. Even though the font is really big and you could read a page in like just less than 30 seconds, and it's a very, very short book, but nevertheless, it was quite an effort for me to finish it. However, I don't regret the book being in the university, nor completing it, nor my lack of appreciation when someone recommends such a book for me. I took a bunch of notes from it, but I don't want to go through all of the notes that I took, but I highlighted a few bullet points that I do want to share with this. But I wanted to preface this for the idea of visualization by just understanding this. I shared it in the last law that we did, law number 34, act like a king to be treated like one. And I talked about Earl Nightingale in a video that I said where he shared that we become what we think about most often, right? And so today, whatever you visualize, whatever you rehearse mentally, this is a fact, your mind cannot differentiate between something you can vividly imagine and real life. I learned this from Joe Dispenza, that the simulation in your brain is so powerful that you can simulate an event. Anyone who's been through abuse and can remember it very vividly, they can attest to this. We can visualize an event so well, so vividly, that we actually experience all of the emotions and all of the, reactions and all the feelings and sensations as if it's happening. So someone who's been, physically abused or sexually abused, and they're able to just relive that and it's on loop and it's just a replaying movie over and over and over, they can make their heart jacked. They can make their cortisol through the roof. They can pump and manufacture adrenaline to the severity as if the event is actually happening, right? That's how powerful your thoughts are. That's how powerful your imagination is. So the whole idea of this is utilizing it, harnessing it, taking advantage of it for your benefit, to create, it says it's creative visualization, to create the life that you want, the life that you dream of, right? The life that you want to live, want to have. Breaking the pattern, right? Breaking the pattern of all the abuse and all of the mistreatment and all of the lack, right? Creating this sort of abundance, magnetizing, attracting, manifesting, if you like that word, the life that you could have, the life that you deserve to have. Even if we employ that last law, act like a king to be treated like one. And I put, as one of the last notes, be lofty within your thoughts. And I referenced meditations from Marcus Aurelius where I said, pretend your thoughts, you should have them so pure that your forehead, imagine it's like glass, and anyone could look in and see your thoughts at any given time. That's how you should always be. It's just so pure in your thinking. Why? For the sentiment that I just shared. What you think about most often, right, is what you become, is the life that you're going to have. And so this is actually really important. I saw this in such a great video that we visualize, abundance in this. But what people do is they focus on the life that they do not want, right? They're so fixated on all the debt and all the rejection and all the bad and and I love this visual that this guy shared, that you can think of him as a projection of my consciousness and my Instagram algorithm, which I actually believe, but that, might be too spiritually deep for somebody watching this. And he said, imagine your goals and with the life that you want is this train, and we're trying to go that way, but then you're focusing on all these other things, and it's a train that you're attaching at the end of it going in the opposite direction. And so what we find most often is, like I said, we become what we think about. We attract what we think about most often. And so if it actually talks about this in this book, that if you think about lack and that's all you're thinking about, then don't be surprised when that's all you magnetize. You know what I'm saying? Because, and it's also in your rhetoric. And I would say this, I'm TIRED. And then my body, my mind, my reality would prove it. They're like, that's your identity? No problem. I got you. I got you. I'll make sure you feel that way at all times. And I would always say that. I am TIRED. I am TIRED. The reason I spell it out is because I've fucking forbidden that word from my vocabulary. It comes out sometimes, but I do my absolute best to never... that's actually going to be a word I don't even teach my children. It's not going to be one that ever comes up in conversation, because if you can remove that word, then it does not exist. Then you cannot experience the same sensation. And I can prove this. One of Patrick Bet-David's children, he has them on this insanely rigid schedule where he's doing like soccer at this time, then jiu-jitsu, and then I don't know if it's fencing, or then, you know, he has his tutorings here. He has this such a stacked schedule, and he goes home to his dad and he's like, hey, Billy, you know, I talked with Billy and Billy's doing this. And then he said, is my schedule, is this normal? He's like, yep, that's normal. Like that level of output, you know what I'm saying? It's, you can condition a titan, a fucking athlete, somebody who's a champion, right? From the conditioning of their words, most importantly, and their actions. And so, and it's actually, we learned this in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that people who are raised in affluent environments, they literally, without having to do any sort of effort, just based on the way that they talk, the way that their belief systems are conditioned from such an early age, they don't have to do anything. They can be such a fuck up and still have so much money because they don't ever say things like I can't. That's not in their vocabulary, which that's something conditioned with poor and non-affluent people. And we learned this from Robert Kiyosaki, that when you say I can't, your mind doesn't even go to work to try to find a solution. Because think of your mind in its survival, gear, trying to conserve as much energy as possible. So if you put in your framework that this is a feat, a task that is not possible to perform, to execute, to complete, then your mind says, no problem, then I'm not going to try because I would rather conserve my energy, right? To protect us, to prolongate our life, for us, for the greatest good of our species, of our survival. Does that make sense? So it all comes down to your mindset, right? The way that you speak, the limiting beliefs that you get conditioned from an early age. I can't afford it. I can't achieve that. I'm broke. I'm poor. I'm drowning in debt. And this isn't, having a false sense of reality. Do the audit, know where you are. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you can condition your mindset, right, to be encouraging and uplifting and working for you. Rather than saying, I'm always broke, and then finding yourself always broke, I've practiced to say, I'm always taken care of. I always have enough. I'm always covered. And then lo and behold, that is exactly what your reality will reflect. Because think of your mindset, your world, it's like a prism, I'm learning, right? Your beliefs are shining this light, and then life unfolds as a reflection of your inner world. How cool is that? So if I'm putting in lack, and I'm putting in the train going in the other direction, what the hell can I expect coming out of this lovely prism, right? Versus if I'm putting in, I'm always taken care of, God always provides for me, I always have enough, and then you're focusing on what you're grateful for, you remove all of these fucking trains of lack going in the opposite direction, that is not what you're fixated on, and then what the hell are you going to magnetize, right? It all comes from your thoughts, right? It all comes from your belief systems. It all comes from what you're choosing to think about on any given day. So, with that, I don't think my voice cracked, I just said it aloud. So there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about in this, and I didn't want to do the same 2-hour, 3-hour lecture that I've done in prior books where I try to give you all of the gold from the books. I'm not trying to do book summaries, I'm just trying to give you the things that, when I look at a book on personal development, even like a book like this, where there's a lot of things that, are useless, that don't apply to me, don't benefit or improve my life. I learned this from Grant Cardone when he was in a bookstore and a guy was holding his book and he was squeamish about paying the fucking $19.99. And he said, if you're looking to get $20 of fucking value from this, he said, this book isn't for you, you should put it back, get the fuck out of here, is what he said without saying it. Because it's not for you. He said, when I go to buy a book, I'm looking for $1 million. That's what Grant Cardone said. He said, I'm looking for $1 million of value. And you could find that in one sentence. You know what I'm saying? That's the importance of the personal development literature within this university. If there's one line in here that changes your entire fucking life, that gives you, just like in meditations, When I read the line in this book that makes this worth its weight in gold 1,000 times, that everything you're going through is part of your required nature's design, that changed the whole game for me, dude, in my perception of life. That I know this assignment that I'm going through, and don't get me wrong, you have free will. You can leave, you can do whatever at any given time. But because I knew I was working my absolute hardest to get a new job, to elevate, my station in life, to increase my income, and it was just getting rejection here. So the quote that know what it is that you want, but let go of the how of how you're going to get there. How is none of your business. Because I was working towards the exact thing that I want, but I let go to God and the universe, the how of how it was going to come to pass. And I wasn't getting out of my situation. I knew with complete certainty and conviction that this was my required assignment. That's one fucking line in this book, right? Not to say that there isn't a ton of other gold that's in this book. Another one that's so good is because we as humans are adaptable, any obstacle, any adversity we can overcome. Therefore, the obstacle becomes the way. And that's actually a quote, actually the title of the book by Ryan Holiday, who's also a very, very big fan of this, of Marcus Aurelius, and of Stoicism in general. But I love that so much. And there's a line in that book, again, not to take away from the gold from this book, but the line was, no one can stop your nature's design. Fucking no one. Not my serpent snake, who I'm, under investigation and litigation, from attacks from. No motherfucker can stop your nature's design. This obstacle, this adversity, this, it's a stepping stone to your dream life, to your, on the way to your potential. It's literally the obstacle that becomes the way, right? And this is not to be cheesy or cliche, but it's very, very true. The only motherfucker, you can replace that with person, who can stop you from closing the gap of who you are and the potential of who you can be, from you realizing your purpose, your potential, what God has called you to do. From seeing that realized, the only person is you who can stop that, right? But what do we do? And we talked about this in a prior law, where we allocate blame to other people, and therefore we allocate salvation to the outer world. And this whole book, now to tie it back in, talks about bringing all of that here. The life that you want is within your control, and it starts with your thoughts. It starts with your belief systems, and the belief is what you believe you're worthy of. There's a ton of affirmations in this book, right? I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of ecstasy. And then one of them is I'm worthy of like the best and most and fulfilling sexual pleasure. Like, condition that. Condition what you believe you're worthy of. Why? The first quote that I have here from the book, energy is magnetic. You attract what you are. You attract what you are, what you believe you're worthy of. So if you believe you're not a king, you're not a queen, right? You have a mindset, and it's proven within your actions, how you carry yourself, how you don't take pride in your appearance or in the way that you speak or in the integrity of your actions or of your character, of how you cut corners or how you dull your edges from being your authentic self. Don't be surprised when you get that manifested and realized within your reality in the form of the relationships that you attract, right? People who treat you like shit because you treat yourself with a lack of respect, because you attract what you are. So if you don't carry yourself with honor, with self-respect, with pride, then when you interact with other people, don't expect for other people to treat you like fucking royalty when you don't choose to walk around with your head held high wearing the fucking crown as if you're destined to wear one. You know what I'm saying? Another quote that I highlighted, the importance of visualization is to achieve the feeling of excitement. I learned this from Bashar, Daryl, who channels this entity called Bashar. So good if you've ever seen this on social media. Is to get the feeling of excitement. And then once you have the feeling, once you embody excitement, let go of the picture. So in the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, which is somewhere here. I don't feel the need to find it. It's here. I'll find it. Just so you know I have it. It's really good. So I'm trying to introduce as much personal development literature, so might as well show it to you guys, because one person might see like, wow, I've never heard of that book. What does it look like? Now I'll go buy it and now I'll go learn from it. But he talks about this idea of getting into a state of excitement, to hold the picture. And this is the difference between what he says in this book and what Bashar insists on, and what this book also failed to mention. Actually, no, I don't think it failed to mention. I think it talked on this, and Bashar, the entity, reaffirms this. So when it comes to visualization, okay, you're conceiving what you think is the best case scenario. If you're doing it, as most people who are trying to visualize their dream life, right? It's only what you can conceptually perceive as the best possible thing. But here's the thing. What if what you perceive, what you can conceptualize, isn't actually the best possible scenario? Crazy concept. What if life could get better? And you're like, no, it doesn't need to get better. No, this is all I want. No, that's what you think you want. You think you want that. And I learned this from Tony Robbins. It's not the pieces of paper when you say, oh, I want money. No, you want the emotion that is going to come with that. You want the feeling that's on the other side. Joe Dispenza talks about this too. We don't want pieces of paper with dead presidents on it. No, we want the feeling that we think we're going to get as a result. And he said, if you can embody that feeling, and if you've ever felt presence, like I'm talking about, it feels like you're walking on a cloud, man. You walk around and you're in the moment, and there's an interview with Robert Greene. He talks about it's the feeling of sublime. And I experience this when I travel, when I solo travel, where I'm covered financially, where I'm not on a schedule, I'm not in a rush to go anywhere, and you're completely present in the moment. And then you're there. You're seeing people, and it's like you're playing a fucking video game, and you get to see all these people who are not present, and oh my God, it feels like ecstasy. It really does. Not maybe to the extent of ecstasy, but it's the best possible feeling you'll ever have sober. So what you're after is the feeling. That's what we're all after at the end of the day. And say with money, you don't want pieces of paper. What you want, freedom. You want options. You want to be able to do what you want, when you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want, for as long as little as you want, right? That's called freedom. I want the emotion, the feeling of feeling free, unrestricted, unbound, right? So, understand, the reason that I brought that up is to let go of the picture. Because what if the greatest ecstasy that you could experience is going to come in a different way? I think about this when I think about my dream person, and I think about that this is the dream person just based on all of your experiences that, have come to, up to date. But I said, what if you could have that exact same person with these exact same qualities, with exact, but in another person, but they were the exact same person, if not even better? I said, would you want that? And it's a fascinating thought that what I want is the symbol of this. I want what this person symbolizes. I want the feeling that is elicited when I think about, when I'm around, when I'm with this person. But if I could find that and an even better feeling, and even more confidence, and even more love, and even more joy and happiness and ecstasy in this who loves me even more, who makes me feel like $10 million versus, $50 or whatever, then it substantiates that idea. So the whole game is embody the feeling of excitement by visualizing that picture of what you can possibly fathom as your dream best case scenario, but then letting go of the picture. Letting go of that, letting go. That's the biggest recurring theme in this book. Letting go. Why? Because what if God could give you even better, right? And it's usually like that. Usually you'll find that you get even better when you let go of the arrogance of it needs to be this way. This is the only way I could find fulfillment. This is the only way I could find happiness. Is through this person, is through this job opportunity, is through this, achievement, versus, I want to keep this feeling of excitement, of happiness, of ecstasy, of joy, of gratitude, of abundance, but I'm open to how it transpires, to how life chooses to unfold on my behalf, how life happens for me, how everything that I'm going through is working in my favor, in my best interest. That kind of mindset, that kind of belief system, don't be surprised when you find life unfolding in that exact manner. Does that make sense? So, to reiterate, the importance of visualization is to achieve the feeling of excitement. Just like in this book, they talk about it. Get the visualization, get the picture perfect, of specificity, of all the intricate details, but then let go of it. In this book, actually, there's an exercise, they call it the pink bubble technique, where you visualize your dream, and then you play it all out, fantasize about it, and then imagine a pink bubble around it, and then imagine it being sent off. And it's kind of like a sort of an incantation of you visualizing your dream getting cast out into the universe and letting go of how it comes to pass. And so that's you surrendering, which is not giving up control. It's you letting go of the how and the when. So you can know what you want. You tell God, you tell the universe, this is what I want. This is what I think is the best, for me. But then you let go, and then you allow for the beauty, for the surprise, for the magic, for the love, for the ecstasy to unfold in real time. That's how you'll achieve that feeling of sublime that I talked about from Robert Greene and Dude, It Feels Awesome. When you allow life to unfold for you without any force, without any resistance, without any sort of expectation. But you just walk around like knowing that, something cool is going to happen, or that you're going to be guided this way, or there's going to be a sudden turn. Or when you walk around like that, I noticed this when I would travel, or when I traveled in the past, that you just meet new people that are just awesome, that are just full of love, full of light on a very consistent basis. And I was in a state of lack, like I'm never going to meet another amazing, beautiful person. I was sort of living in this state of expectation that I'm going to, meet another loving, beautiful, full of love individual, or have this kind of experience, and then you find your life literally unfolds like that. It's so magical when you let go of the how and when you harness presence. So you're maintaining that state of excitement, but removing the picture and just surrendering to life, allowing it to unfold. And that's where pleasure and ecstasy comes from. Anyone who's taken ecstasy, not that I have, you know that it only activates when you let go. So when you're fighting, when you're resisting it, literally the drug doesn't activate. So not that I know that from personal experience, it's just, must have been research in an article. You find that it unfolds once you let go, once you surrender, and then you actually feel it's not that it's magical or that I'm longing for it, like the Portuguese saudade, where you long for such a feeling. When you feel it in real time, it's a slow, ongoing effect, as if you've ever taken mushrooms. Not that I've done that either. It's the same thing. And I truly believe that simulates God's time and God's pace, where it goes like this. And that's how life unfolds. It's very slow, it's very gradual. It's not the screaming and the hollering of the clubs and the loud and the noise. You'll find ecstasy, especially as you mature and grow on your path, it's in peace. It's in slow, it's in calm, that's pleasure. I mean it. Like when you can just drown out all the fucking noise and you can get in harmony with God, with his voice, with his timing, with the beautiful, perfect synchronicity and unfolding of your life, and you tap into that frequency, you will know heaven on earth. Okay, so I think that covers that and that makes sense. To continue. Do not put anyone as part of your recipe for success or happiness. That's so important. When you're trying to harness creative visualization and you're thinking about your dream case scenario, your dream life, I can't stress this enough. Do not put another motherfucker as a part of your recipe for success. Why? You'll be gravely mistaken as to the result of that equation. I've had to learn this the hard way over and over and over and over. I can only achieve success or happiness or fulfillment if this person does this role, if this woman reciprocates romantically, if this person does this sale, if this person buys this product. No. You can't put anyone else as a part of your recipe for your success. Why? You have to put it all on you, because you cannot control all of these people. You can't control them. And it's the victim mindset that you'll find yourself blaming other people, other circumstances, other conditions, other events for your lack of success. And to go back to this book, no person can stop your nature's design. But the way that you'll find your, life being hindered, all these trains going in the opposite direction of the life that you're trying to achieve, is from blame, is from allocation of responsibility, of no ownership, of no personal agency. And so you're allocating, you're assuming no fucking personal ownership, no responsibility, and therefore you're allocating all the power to remedy your situation, to change, to improve, to succeed. If you allocate the power, to give other people, then you allocate your what? Salvation. Therefore, my salvation, I need somebody else out here to help me, to save me, right? Do not put anybody else as a part of your recipes for success. You'll be gravely mistaken by the result of that equation. But also, the other caveat to that is, if you bet on yourself, you will not ever lose. I learned that from Greg Plitt as well. If you bet on yourself, you can't fucking lose. And I saw a quote, it was on Instagram, and it was a scene from James Bond, but the caption was, success hits different when you bet on yourself and win. Like when you go all in on yourself. And that's the same thing with Greg Clay. He says that, dude, if you bet on yourself, and I mean all in, you burned your fucking boats and you're like, I'm going all in on me, you can't lose. You can't lose. Because say you fail, right? Which failure just means you stop trying, because everybody, the one who is the greatest failure has succeeded. Is showing you success. That's the guy who's failed the most. The difference between a success and a failure is the failure let failure stand, and the successful person just tried again. Just the ratio was one more than the outstanding failures. So there was 9 tries and 8 failures. Therefore, he's a success, right? Outside looking in. Versus the person who let failure stand, who the first fucking roadblock, the first obstacle. Amazing. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read. Not to take anything away from this. I'm going to let failure stand by the first obstacle. They're enacting this atrocity that another person, this hardship, this condition, this event, this outward worldly thing can inhibit my potential, my nature's design. Absolutely fucking not. But it will if you have that mindset, right? If you have the victim mentality that you're disadvantaged, that somebody out here has taken your, has hindered your path, right? Has limited your success. No, fuck no. They were an obstacle that you chose not to turn into a stepping stone, right? You got heartbreak, you got anger, you got depression, you got all of this infinite fuel. You chose not to alchemize this. You chose not to transmute this. You chose to not use this as infinite fuel to then fucking crazily leverage your potential, to harness all of that and then to fucking leapfrog to your destiny. You chose to be destroyed by it instead of utilizing it. What if, and you chose to operate on the rhetoric that life happens to you, that this event happened to me, I got wrecked, versus what if this happened for me? What if the heartbreak, what if the getting dumped or getting cheated on, what if the business failing, necessary, not punishment, preparation, right? Needed trials, needed testing, right? For the life that I say that I want. Right? For me to become the man who can steward this means, who can retain this relationship, not just obtain, retain, right? What if life happens for you always, for your highest and greatest good, always? What if everything that you're going through required by your nature's design, your required assignment? Okay. So don't put anyone else as part of your recipe for success ever. Okay. Next lesson from this book is the idea of letting go. Letting go. It's so important that you learn to let go. It's the hardest thing. When I talk about Ratlife, anyone can escape. It starts with belief and the courage to pursue. Part of the courage is letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go of the how, letting go of the when, letting go of other people's expectations, letting go of fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of humiliation, looking less than, fear of other people not liking you, fear of losing friends, losing family, fear. Let go. And there's a beautiful imagery. It's of this 3 different ones. One is a person holding onto a rope and their entire hand is like, red and bloodied. And then the next one, they kind of loosen the grip and then it lightens the color. And then the next one is they've let go of that completely. They've let go of what has not served them. And you find this particularly with relationships and people holding on to somebody so long. And I've been guilty of that to 1000%. I'm not excluding myself from that category where it's like you want something to work so badly. But I always go back to the imagery of Jesus holding a humongous teddy bear behind his back with his hand extended, and you're holding on fucking so for dear life to this tiny rag doll. And it's as if he's, communicating and saying, sweetheart, just let go. Trust me. I have something better for you. And that is probably the perfect, for this book, the perfect takeaway is when I talk about harnessing the excitement of the picture of the life that you want, but just letting go. That you're holding on to this, you're holding on to this, but what if, darling, what if, sweetheart, I could give you fucking the garden when you're just asking for a flower. Let go. Let go. Letting go takes way more courage than holding on. Holding on is just a communication of your fear. I learned this from one of these motivational speakers and pastors. He said the reason that we hold on to this love that we get, say from dating or from, whatever, is because we think it's the only one or the only chance that we have at this love. And so we hold on to it for dear life. But if you were in a state of abundance, if you knew that you could get this from a million different ways, you wouldn't be so desperate to hold on to this. You'd be very comfortable and very willing and open to let go, right? Just no problem. And if you apply that to you going out and to dating and to other people, that's living in a state of abundance. That if not you, no worries. There's 1,000 people who would be stoked to be with me. I'm not gonna fucking kill myself over the one person who doesn't want to give me the time of day. And I've been that guy, man, where I've tried so hard for this person. I was like, oh my gosh, they're the one, and I just want to do whatever I can for them. But that's you losing sight of your value, forgetting who you are. Just like Mufasa, you've forgotten who you are, and therefore you've forgotten me, And it's very, very true. We try so hard, right, to hold on to something that we just think it's this or I'll never get it. It's this or nothing. It's this or, what if I'm never going to find love, or I'm never going to, achieve success if it's this. That's fear. It's fear. But the imagery that I love to think about, I saw it was fucking poetry. And it said, what if you are so afraid to take that leap of faith, to let go, because you think that when you jump, it's going to be, you're going to die. Because we always go to the worst case scenario. Oh, this person's going to reject me, or I'm going to get heartbreak, or, I'm going to lose them, or just I'm going to die when it all boils down to it. It said, but what if you jump into the unknown, you take that leap of faith, and then you find that abyss, alchemizes, it transmutes into a feather bed. And that's what I think of when I think of how God rewards us for taking a leap of faith, for letting go of the picture, letting go of the how, letting go of the when, and just giving him our full trust. I think that's the reward he gives for courage, because it's so rare. Because think about this, if you have all of these blessings and you're such a great teacher, great mentor, and all you want to do is help people who want to help themselves and people who have the courage to harbor humility, right? To let go of their ego, to let go of their insecurity, to let go of their fear, to let go of their arrogance. And you see someone trying so hard and they also have the courage to let go and to surrender and to trust. Oh my God, wouldn't you want to give that person a gift? Wouldn't you want to give that person as much help as possible? Versus the one who's like, it's my way or the highway. And I knew this when I would try to take it all on myself. The imagery of, you getting crushed by the cross that you bear, and it's like, because it gets so heavy and you're just like, I'm not gonna offload it, I'm just gonna take it all on myself, and it's me, and I have to do this, and I don't deserve help, or I'm not gonna get any help. And you get to the point where you get fucking crushed by it. And I got to that point where I reached rock bottom in May 21st of 2023, where I had to offload it. Like, I couldn't take all of everything on myself anymore. And then that's where I began my journey with God. And it's very, very beautiful how you can just put it on him, and you can just let go of the burden, and you don't have to go through it alone. And you can just, it's such a relieving feeling when you can just let go and you can just surrender. Because the biggest thing that I had to break was the mindset and the belief system that letting go is giving up. Letting go is giving up. Letting go is giving up. Because that's what I thought it was. If I let go of this person, or of this, dream that I have, or this relationship that I'm really wanting to, that's me giving up. And I was like, I refuse to give up. Tarek Houks does not quit ever, right? That's Tarek Houks living in a state of lack and not abundance. That's Tarek Houks saying, living in a state of, if I don't achieve it in this way, in this sequence, in this manner, and find love and fulfillment with this person, I'll never get it. It'll never happen. I'm not worthy of it beyond this, right? This is my only chance. Lack, fear. Versus abundance is what? Having the courage, the calm confidence to let go. No problem. Because you're like, dude, it'll come back to me, right? If I just give love, if I just view life in the lens of love, if I just live in a state of abundance, right? You magnetize, you attract not what you want, who you are. Who you are. So practice being that person. Abundance, right? There's always enough. I'm always taken care of. I'm always provided for. People love to compliment me, to give me money, to give me opportunities, to be around me, to have conversations with me. You have the power to change and harness and use to your benefit your mindset. You could literally program it however you like, right? Where you look at yourself in the mirror with pride, in a state of awe, in ecstasy and love, or with doubt and fear and hatred. And dude, I've been the biggest proponent of that, where I'll look at myself and I'll see all the flaws, and I'll see all the insecurities, and I'll see all the lack, and I'll see all the less thans, and I'm just like, fuck this, man. Fuck no. I'm done doing this. I'm done shitting on myself. I'm done wanting a life like this with all these trains going in this way, but then I'm attaching consciously all of these other fucking trains by fixating on the life that I don't want, things that I'm not happy with. And you'll find this with relationships and these weeds that you're inviting into your garden, that if you're fixating on all of the weeds and all the pests and all the parasites and all the people who make you feel hard to love, unconfident being yourself, uncomfortable in your own skin, you won't even be able to harbor gratitude for the people who are fucking stoked to be in your life, who love you for you, unapologetically you. So, let go. Let go, sweetheart. I've had to tell myself that verbatim. Let go, sweetheart. Let go. It's okay. Let go. Let go. Let go. And you're going to find, dude, the life that you want is on the other side of your fear. Whatever the fuck you're holding on to for dear life, whatever you feel like you're putting in so much resistance for. I know this from past relationships. For me and for other people that I would observe, where they're trying so fucking hard to force something. And I would say that's probably God, it's probably the universe telling you that this isn't it. This isn't the move. This isn't the way. This isn't for you. You don't have to force something that's for you. You don't have to, and I learned this, again, on my path of development, you don't have to hold on to something that's for you. What's meant for you, no one can take, by definition. This is meant for you. It is written for you, to be with you, to come into union with you. No one can take what's meant for you. No one. Nothing can obstruct what is written for you, what has been written since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? So, I love that so much. Onward, only a couple more highlights. I didn't want to give you guys too much gold with this. No, but I want to give the most important takeaways from this, which is finding that harmony of excitement, right? Having that picture for the reason of the visualization and the power of it, that if you do a mental rehearsal over and over and over, don't be surprised when that comes into fruition in your life. But the problem is we mentally rehearse the life we do not want, right? But then letting go, having the courage to let go, right, of it needs to be this way, it needs to happen at this time. If you try to control the how and the when, you're fucking up with nature and with God's mechanism, with God's mechanism. And the mechanism works like this. You input what you want, but you arrogant and ego motherfucker, you let go, gosh darn it, of the how and the when. That is not your concern or your business. Why? God can make this, and more often than not, if you have the courage to let go, even better, something even better than the best thing that you can visualize, happen in a million different ways. Not a million, 1,000, 100 million ways, right? That's called abundance. That's called surrendering trust to God, to universe, to think about it. How many ways can you make $1 that you can think of? Probably more than one, right? Now multiply yourself times God. How many ways could God or the universe bring whatever the fuck you want to life? But how arrogant and limiting is it to say, I can only achieve this if it's done in this way, in this timeline, in this manner. Do you know what I'm saying? If you were just to check your ego and your pride at the fucking door, and you come correct when you come to God, you say, God, this is what I want. Okay, you can do it however you want it, no problem. That takes courage, dude. But think about it. Think about this. And I would learn this from when I would work as training people, personal trainer, Coach Hawks, Coach Tarek, Daddy, no. Let's pretend I know more than you, and I would be 10 years into my training journey, and this person would be their first day, and they would say, well, what I've done is this and this, and I would tell them to do this, and they're like, that's nice, I'm gonna do this. And I would say the arrogance, the fucking arrogance to say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So you're not going to listen to what I have to say, which is 10 years of proven experience and 10 years of coaching and 10 years of all this, which now it's, 12 years plus. Or I'm on my 12th year, but I've coached people before. No, not before I started. So we'll say 12 years collectively of experience. And you're going to tell me that the results that you have right now are a result of your actions to date. And rather than listen to someone that's been doing this for a decade longer than you in the exact thing and achieved whatever goal that you're trying to do, say it's female and weight loss, and I've done it for countless females, you're not going to listen to what I got to say or what I've done or what I've proven with all these customers, clients, testimonials. You're going to disregard that, and you're going to do exactly what you're going to do anyway, but expect a different result. The fucking arrogance of that person. And I've been with those people, and they've tried to pay me, and I was like, get the fuck away from me. You are wasting my time. You're wasting my time. And it's so true. People, and now that's how I empathize, if I, may be so bold to say, with God. But imagine how he feels. He can see the whole picture. He sees the whole picture. You have a fucking puzzle piece. And that's why I have to tell this to myself over and over and over. Do not lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on your own understanding. I always do that. I always, try to figure out the fucking timeline, because that's how we all make sense of the world. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to seek truth. I'm trying to, see the light, to follow it. And I'm given a fucking lantern, right? So I'm having to learn trust. Because when you're on your hero's journey, I learned this from a beautiful video that I posted in a prior lecture, that the way that you know that you're on the right path is the path that disappears. So all you're given is a lantern, literally. And it could be the personification of God. And you literally can only see the next step, the next step, the next step. And I'm trying to see the picture, right? I'm really trying my best to see the picture, but I'm given a puzzle piece. I'm given a lantern and not, an illuminating sunlight, or I'm not, given the whole day, right? It's dark. And God is walking with a lantern, and I get to see one step at a time. However, what if, crazy thought, what if all you needed was to see the next step? What if that is the journey, right? What if that is the game? It's in the journey, not in the destination, right? What if it's not about what you get? What if it's about the man that you become along the way, right? It's all good food for thought. So, does any of that make sense? I'm not repeating it. To continue. I love that. And it all ties in with letting go and surrendering. Surrendering to God, to stop leaning on your own understanding, to stop trying to see the whole fucking picture and the how of the whole picture when all you're given is a motherfucking puzzle piece, right? Think about that. If I am trying to control the how, but I can't see 999 of these other puzzle pieces, what if those are this person who has this opportunity for me, this person who gives me a check for all this money, this person who flies me out here, this person who gives me this heartbreak, this injury? You can't see the how in foresight because you have no idea what trials, adversity, blessings. You can't see any of that shit in foresight. So that's why you need to let go of the how. It's no problem. It's fine telling God, telling the universe what you want, but do the pink bubble technique, put that in, visualize it, and then let go. Let go, surrender to God, surrender to universe, surrender to the how, and quit fucking up the mechanism by trying to put that input. That you don't tinker with that shit. That's not your role, that's not your job, that's not your anything, right? Let go of the how. It's not your business. It's let God, let him work that mechanism. You're unqualified because he can see the whole picture and he could bring this how part to fruition in a billion, even more than a billion different ways. All of that makes sense. We're continuing. We're almost done. I just want two more things I want to go over. The purpose of creative visualization. I love this so much, so I'll gift it to you. To connect us with our being. So when you just there's a lot of meditation techniques in this. I would highly recommend you meditate in some fashion. My preference, I linked this in a prior lecture, Tony Robbins, 14-minute video, guided, no ads, priming. And even though it says no ads, there is an ad at the start, so you have to wait until that, but then there is not an intermediate ad because that'll, break the meditation. But it's priming, and so it allows you to do this whole exercise of, first it changes your physiology, which changes your state. Then you think about 3 things that you're grateful for, one at a time. And so you're able to harness and embody the feeling of gratitude, which sort of begins and unlocks the creative process. Because if you're in a state of lack and fear and doubt and worry, you're not in a state to create, to visualize, to be in this abundant, peaceful, calm love. So it literally primes you to manifest, to realize the life that you want. That's why I love it so much. I don't do it as of late just because I was able to get to such a depth of it where it literally simulated the feeling as if I was on mushrooms. I'm not saying this with hyperbole. I literally was able to, as if I plugged into source, as if I plugged into this divine energy where I could literally feel myself fucking connected to God, to the universe, to the soul of the world that they discuss in The Alchemist. And it would literally give me a fucking hangover. Like I would get these migraines afterwards. And so I was like, I'm harnessing, I'm tapping into the power of the gods here. So I said, I need to, or I don't know if I need to let off on this, but either I need to acclimate to this and, persevere through these, headaches, or I just need to stop. And so I've just taken a break from it. But the next thing is, after you harness the gratitude, you get to send that out. And I've learned this from, again, you can think of your algorithm as projections of your consciousness and the levels that you're at in your sort of awakening on your journey. But I was seeing video that said that you have no idea how powerful your energy is, that all you need to do is think about somebody and you fill them up with energy. And I thought about that, and it's just like, how many people have been feeding off of your energy for so long because you just have fixated on them and you've given so much of your energy. And I never realized that you can transfer energy. Think of yourself as a fucking, a battery that you can connect to another person. You can just, a wire, you like a cable, jumper cables. I can literally think of a person and fill them up with my energy. It's an insane idea that I had never, they do not teach you that in school, where you can literally be such a person like I am, with such a high energy level, which it's in the book that will be later in this university. It's called Power versus Force. And the highest energy level that we can measure is, they call it enlightenment. It's authenticity. And it's a higher vibration, it's a higher frequency than love. So it goes joy, love, gratitude, and then the last one is shame. And then the lower ones, very low vibrations, are things like anger, resentment, guilt. Shame is the last one. That's the weakest, lowest vibration. I operate in gratitude, in joy, in appreciation, in authenticity, in Tarek Hawks, in being seen here. And that's the one compliment that I've gotten the most in my entire life is, don't lower your frequency. I love your energy. You have such a unique energy. I never knew what the fuck they were talking about. But it's just like, and a lot of these people I met while traveling, they see me give myself permission to be me. And it's a very rare thing. When was the last time you went around your day and you saw someone be unapologetically, authentically them? And not only are they them, they're present them. And so you're seeing them, and I learned this from, it might have been Joe Dispenza or Tony Robbins, that if people from like Neanderthal times were to see a person today present, they would literally appear glowing. They literally would look like they have an aura around them. And the last Mr. Olympia, I had weed, marijuana. And I was watching one of the Olympians. He was in a wheelchair, and he was present. And the commentator was not present at all. And I was in a this heightened state. And I swear to God, the person in the wheelchair, he looked like he was glowing. There was this aura around him. He looked like he was like an angel. He looked like he was just so happy and smiling. He was present. And I literally could see that glow, that light. And it's fascinating because if you think about energy and a vibration, this frequency that you're giving off, this radio, channel that you're tuned into, people feel it. People can feel energy, right? But they can also see it, dude. They see that excitement. They see that, Jim Rohn calls it bottled capped enthusiasm, where you're not overly sharing, but like you have like a smirk on your face that there's something like that you're happy about, that you're excited about. And then it's very telling that you're, this excited, happy, whatever person. And people can see it, people can feel it, and you can even store it. Like I've written people letters and I've, written books and sent them. And if I'm operating in a state of presence, you can harness that energy into a physical object when you give it to someone. It's fascinating to do how energy works. But I'm saying all of that to say that, I don't know where I went on that sort of tangent, but it's you can operate on that degree of energy, which is I just find it fucking fascinating. And so I've always been, I was saying how you can connect with someone, you can send energy from across the world to fill somebody up with energy. And so what has sort of changed my development is when I stopped allocating my energy to other people and I reclaimed it. I reclaimed it from every person, from every negative person that I was, harboring so much of my energy and thought space towards, romantic interest and whatever. I did like an incantation that I learned that, and I think it's even in this book, like an affirmation incantation. I reclaim all of my energy from every outside source and I reclaim it all back to myself. And you'll find that you could harness all of your energy to yourself and you'll vibrate you'll be this magnet, dude. And people will see you and they'll know that you're focused right now on you. You're not focused on someone else. You're not in this chaser energy. You don't have a air of desperation about you. There's something different. There's that twinkle in your eyes. You're glowing, literally, So I encourage you that if you find yourself so fixated, so obsessed with, someone or someone else, turn that energy inward. Start to focus on you. Okay. So the purpose of creative visualization, to connect us with our being, to help us focus and facilitate our doing. So that comes from intentionality. So whatever it is that you want and then working towards it, right? Having those right intentions. To deepen, expand, and align our having. And I love that because when you think about creative visualization, it's like, oh, this is what I want, right? Oh, I want money. Oh, I want, pieces of paper of dead presidents. No, you want feeling. There's an emotion that you're after here. Or there's a life that you want that you think is on the other side of this. I want freedom. I want financial freedom because I want peace. I'm after that feeling. I want options. I want the feeling of feeling free. That ecstasy of being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, with whoever I want, for as long as or little as I want, anytime I fucking want. That's ecstasy, man. That's peace, that freedom, that joy, that calm, that I'm not in a rush. I want that. I want that. But what if you can get that in a million different ways? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the idea of letting go. And then you realize this, or you manifest this, to deepen, expand, and align our having, right? To align our having. Because most people think, oh, I want the trophy wife, I want the fucking fast car, I want this house. And then they get what they want, and then they're miserable as fuck. And then it's like, that's weird, you got exactly what you wanted. No, you didn't want those things. You want the emotion, or the status, or the significance that you thought was on the other side of having those things. So the purpose of creative visualization, to summarize, to connect us with our being, to help us focus and facilitate our doing, to deepen, expand, and align our having. Does that make sense? And then the last one that I highlighted. We all have incredible healing power that we can tap into at will. I'll share something with you. I honestly think that I'm a descendant of either Jesus Christ or just a warrior. Because when I think of myself, I think of Spartacus. I think of Alexander the Great. I think of a Julius Caesar. I think of Achilles. I think of William Wallace. I think of people who were at the vanguard for Leonidas. I think of people who are at the vanguard for freedom. Because nothing intrinsically resonates me more than the pursuit of freedom in my one life. And the amount of people that I've healed, the amount of people who I've planted seeds under, planted trees under whose shade I'll never sit, by the seeds of belief that I've planted, the transformations that I've personally have observed come to pass after my introduction into such people's lives. It is the power of the divine, and it's the power of your words. So people are very irresponsible with their speech, but they're all very ignorant and naive of the power that they have to heal other people. As in, people use their words very destructively. They're very irresponsible with the way they talk, whether it's put downs, whether it's criticisms, whether it's judgments, whether it's projection, whether it's condemnation. When you have the same equal power to plant a seed of belief of possibility in someone that could transform and change their entire fucking life, you can make that one kid believe that he could have, like Aziz Shavershian planted for me, the seed of belief that I could become a fitness model one day. And that's him speaking to the 145-pound kid at 6'2" when I was 18 years old, right? I had a client named Marla who told me, I was training her, and she was like, this when I was 22. And she said, when you go to Paris, and I scoffed at her, and I wrote in my book, my ignorance, naivety, and like insecurity all equally on display. I said, yeah, sure, when I go to Paris. And she gave me a gift which was the seed of belief, which was severity. As in, she reassured me, and she didn't laugh. She didn't, she said, when you go to Paris, you need to go to here, here, and here. And then I sort of tuned her out, but I think it was something like a museum recommendation. And then sure enough, that seed of belief was planted, that I believed. I watered that thought, and I was able to realize that on my journey, that traveling the world and going anywhere you want, it's not for the special, the elite, the sacred few, that anyone can do it, anyone can travel the world, anyone can, travel to their dream destinations. So I got that, belief planted for me from Marla. I got that belief planted for me from Aziz Shavershian. I remember I was in the gym after I started my transformation journey. I was 18, 19 years old, and a guy named Garrett, who was this military guy, he's just so humble, so modest, but he was jacked. His arms were the size of my both legs combined. And I asked him for a spot. I was doing incline dumbbell bench press with 50-pound dumbbells, but I couldn't get it up. And then he spotted me, and he said something to me. And he said, you could go heavier. And I was like 18, 19 years old. I was a skeleton. And I said, oh, no, I can't do that. And then he gave me a gift, severity. And he said, no, you can go heavier. And what is he doing? What did he do? He planted a seed of belief, of possibility. And the whole summary of this is you could be that person. You could be the person who waters that garden, that ripple effect into the universe to harness the healing power of a Jesus Christ, of God, of planting trees under whose shade you'll never sit. You could be the person who plants that seed of possibility within another person, of love, of potential, which is all love is. Love is belief. Love is you seeing someone, you can see the man or woman that person has the potential to become, and you breathe confidence into that visualization, that vision of them. To the severity, you're not saying it with jokes or jests, or you're not bullshitting them. You actually believe it. You actually love them. You actually believe in them. To the point where you get them to water that seed one fucking day and realize their potential. You could be that guy, man. And then you'll find, as you sow, so shall you reap. Dude, you give enough love to other people, it'll come back to you. You put enough people on, dude, one day someone's gonna put you on. You focus on living your life in a state of abundance and not in lack, having the courage to let go, creating that garden where you prune all the fucking weeds. Don't be surprised when you find yourself one day living out your dream life, right? By you one day living a life others can't, from you doing what others wouldn't, right? If you do what others won't, one day you'll live a life others cannot. And with that, I hope you enjoyed today's lecture, book number 22, Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. My name is Tart Hawks. We are all going to make it. What is Ratlife? It starts with belief. Anyone can escape, and the courage to pursue, the courage to let go. With that, we are all going to make it.